Dzień dobry. We'll wait while it starts. I always start every presentation with the same thing, which is Dzień dobry, przepraszam, nie mówić po polsku. It's about as good as my Polish gets, I'm afraid. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the warm welcome. I used to kind of spend around 5 minutes of my time introducing myself, talking about what I do at Brand24. Let me just see. Okay, so my job title is Chief Revenue Officer. It's really cool when you work for a startup because most of the time they'll let you pick your own job title. So this was mine. The reason why I picked this is because I didn't want to be called head of sales or sales manager, because my kind of mentality is that sales, marketing, and customer service are very much the same thing. But to kind of explain my role at Brand24 is I don't have to talk about it anymore because we have a nice video that explains it.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of Brand24, a beautiful award-winning app that gives you instant access to mentions about your brand across the web. People ask, what is the secret to our success? Well, apart from reading a lot of SaaS.com, we've been quite successful with keeping our team members motivated.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine like it's good. I'm doing 5, 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout, take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a...
Yeah, so that's my life at Brand24, basically. He didn't mention it in the job interview, but it kind of explains what we do is we try to do things differently. We try to gain marketing and sales attention. We try to bond with our customers by being as human and as funny and as painful as possible. So what I want to talk about first is I feel responsible for this. I feel like I always have to talk about the perception of a salesperson, because when I meet new people at an event like today or in a party or a new family member, and they say, Mick, what do you do? I hate saying I'm in sales, and it's basically this guy's fault. Because when we think about salespeople, that's exactly the kind of person we think about. This was a guy that his way of selling was just to intrude, just to add pressure, just to kind of involve himself in every part of your day. And what we can do now is if we Google how to stop cold calling, there's 177,000 results. You know, we as consumers, every day, people that want to buy products, we really know now that sales is not always a fun thing to be involved in. And it's getting worse. So basically what we see now is like 97% of cold calling is now ineffective. So what that basically means is it's not that basically 3% is conversion. It's 3% of your effort in work will result in some kind of conversation or possible positive outcome. It gets 7% worse every single year. So cold calling, we're becoming more and more immune to it as consumers. And it's quite expensive. So we can see now that it's a more expensive because you've got to buy the data, you've got to have the team members that can fulfill this process. So it's quite an expensive process. But what I want to talk to you about today is that I believe deep down, is that people don't mind being sold to, okay? That perception, that guy, when we see him, we cross the street, the person in the street with the billboard, you run away as much as you can. But there are so many situations every single day where we accept being sold to. So here's a prime example. Please stand up, because I might not be able to see hands. Please stand up for just 2 seconds if you went to the cinema in the last 6 months. Kino. Anybody? Super. Okay. Stay standing. Stay standing. Stay standing. Okay. Stay standing. Now, please stay standing up if you watched the movie trailers before the movie started. Okay, great. Sit down. Okay, thank you. That's as much activity as I'll need from you today. Okay. So, I'm a very weird guy when I go to the cinema because I'm always customer-centric. So when everybody's sat at the cinema and they're doing different things, I'm watching what people do. And this is normally how it looks.
This organization, do you know what it's called?
Its name is Spectre.
Look around you, James. Everything you believed in, a ruin. Why did you come? I came here to kill you.
Okay, so we're at the cinema. The new James Bond, the new Marvel, the new romantic comedy's out, and I'm watching people. I'm not watching the trailer. And what happens is, you can see people, first of all, when the trailer's on, they're focused. They're sat in their chair and they're watching the trailer. It's got their attention. And then when the trailer finishes, you see them and they're nudging their boyfriend or their girlfriend and going like, we have to watch that. And you see the girlfriend going, not another one. You know, like, you can see the conversation and it's engaging. And then what happens is this.
Zawsze jest blisko nas, z nią życie jest łatwiejsze, ma wszystko, co potrzebne, tak świeżo, tak smacznie.
And we're at the cinema, and suddenly that comes on. And apart from the fact that I love the song, it's a case of basically everybody's attention, if you watch them, they go from the screen to their phone, to they start having a conversation, they lose interest. So what I'm trying to explain to people is that when you're watching a movie trailer, you're being sold to, you're being pitched to give me your money to come to the cinema again and watch a movie. And everybody that stage stood up said, thank you, I'll do that. When this comes on, we all feel offended and we're annoyed, and suddenly people are like, oh my God, when is the movie starting? And what it tells you is two things, is that people are really okay with being sold to when two things happen. One is when it's relevant to the thing that you're interested in. Movie trailers are super relevant to movies. It's a super specific audience. They know exactly who they're targeting. So you appreciate it because it's exactly what you've shown them you're interested in. But the second one, and the second one why being sold to is even more successful with movie trailers than ever, is because you have a choice. You know it's going to happen. If the movie industry changed, and they decided that they would play movie trailers at random points within a movie, you would hate it. Why? Because it would be out of your control. It would be interrupting your experience. But because you know it's going to happen, you know it's exactly how it's going to happen, you appreciate it, and actually we like being sold to. So what this kind of comes down to is that consumers are in control. This was a recent article by The Economist. Well, maybe not so recent anymore. And what it kind of shows are some really key specifics. And the first thing we can see here is that 88% of consumers use online reviews. So 88% of consumers will check online before they make an online purchase. You can roll through until they're all on the screen. 85% of people will check up to 10 reviews before they make a purchase. 88% of consumers trust online reviews more than they trust their friends. So if I say to somebody, you've got to go and check out that next James Bond movie, they will go and see what people wrote about it. Complete strangers wrote about it online rather than trust me. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm in sales. But, and then the last one, which is really alarming even, is that 44% of people will check online reviews even after they bought something. So if I really convince them to buy something, they will go home and they'll be like, I don't know if I trust that Mick. Let me go and check if actually what other people said that is true. So consumers are in control, and what happens is that basically we've got to give them the control when it comes to a purchasing process. So here's a story. Some of you may have seen this from my other presentations. There is a nice elderly couple in the UK. They go to stay in a hotel in Blackpool in the UK, and they get home and they check their credit card bill, and they were charged an extra £100 by this company. And they were shocked. So they checked and they phoned the hotel and they said, why? And the hotel said, because you left a negative review of our hotel on TripAdvisor, we charged you £100 more. And they could legally do it. It was in the terms and conditions when they booked the hotel. So this is a hotel trying to say, I'm in control. Screw you, consumers. I got it. And so Mr. Hotel Manager is like, £100 in my pocket. Thank you very much. And he's thinking, the worst thing that can happen is I'm featured on a BBC website. The next day, it's featured on the Guardian website. Because what happened? The couple, they went to social media, they went online. This is what we do when we feel hurt. So Mr. Hotel Manager is thinking, okay, it's not too bad The BBC, The Guardian, I can live with that. It's not too bad. The next day, it was featured on CNN International. So imagine that basically 88% of consumers check online before they make a purchase. This hotel is now left with the remaining 12%. And you think maybe just the Northern Hemisphere. It ended up on the New Zealand Herald. Okay, so it went all the way around the world. And this was all in exchange for £100. And if you Google, if you look for this hotel, there's literally 400 articles, main news stories that are actually about this. So we can't take the power back from consumers anymore. And what we can see is that 1,700 people every single month write the phrase customer service and fail. So a lot of people in this room, this is no surprise that customer service is now moving very much online. People go online to complain. I do it quite a lot, unfortunately. But what I want to show you today is that people don't just go online to complain. 18,000 people a month write the phrase, can anybody recommend, on social media. Can anybody recommend? They're actually asking for advice. They're asking for help in purchasing decisions. 36,000 people write the phrase, where can I buy? Where can I buy? So we're not just, as consumers, we're not just going to social media to complain or to post pictures of our cat or what we had for dinner. We're also going there to ask for advice and help, not only from consumers, but from businesses as well. So here's a prime example. This is somebody called Chad Johnson. He wrote on social media, where can I buy a Habs jersey in Miami? And this was real time. There was no responses. And what we can see here is that Chad Johnson has 3.6 million followers on Twitter. One of them is Floyd Mayweather. And nobody responded. So what I did is I Googled Habs jerseys Miami. And I think to myself, maybe nobody sells Habs jerseys in Miami. Maybe that's why nobody replied on Twitter. And as everybody in this room probably knows, look at how many companies are bidding for ad space on Google on exactly the same term, fighting to pay $2, $3, $4 a click when they didn't respond to a super famous person on Twitter. The same thing goes for many, many other things. So can I buy a cheap tracking device for my car? No response. Again, Google cheap tracking device for my car. There's lots of companies buying the ad space online. Where can I buy a selfie stick in Dublin? The same thing. Nobody responded. Lots of people paying for ad space on Google. Now here's an example of when somebody actually does respond. So here somebody wrote, Shawn Michaels, where can I buy your book online? Shawn Michaels, being the entrepreneur that he probably is, thought, yay, book sale. So he posted a link to buying his book. Now, what I want to kind of focus on here is, it's not only about making a sale when you interact with someone on social media. The response is, thank you, God bless. He made a real advocate for his brand. So it's not just about that. Like, here's another one. I did a demo 2 weeks ago and I felt really, really lucky because, again, I found something. Can anyone recommend an email marketing platform? And nobody had responded. So as part of this demo, live with someone else, I thought, I'll give it a try. And I said, hey, listen, I recommend GetResponse. And this was a month, basically a month after the person had tweeted. They tweeted, there was a month with no response. I responded just purely to set an example. Instantly, the person replied, thank you so much for your recommendation. I'm going to check it out. So the people on Twitter, when they write these kind of questions, they really want you to help them. So here's another example of a company that we're looking for a PR. We're looking for a PR company in London. The same thing. I responded to check if they would respond. The person said, great, thank you so much. She called me Mark. I'll deal with that later. But so we know that people respond. Here's the same thing from a business point of view. Can anyone recommend a restaurant in Brighton that isn't Italian? I recommended a restaurant, and the restaurant responded saying, thank you so much. Now, I'm not doing this for charity. The next thing I say to the restaurant is, hey, listen, wouldn't you like a lot more people talking about restaurants in Brighton? And that doesn't just stop here. Anybody here represent restaurants, bars in Krakow, have friends that have restaurants in bars? This beautiful bar that we're in right now, this was live from today. On the 11th of March, someone wrote, can anybody recommend a restaurant or bar in Krakow? They are looking for your help. So if you're buying Google AdWords or ad space or keywords, please also go and put those exact same phrases into Twitter search, into Facebook, maybe use a tool like Brand24 or similar, because there's lots of sales out there that people really appreciate your help. So this is a really, really good story because consumers want humanity. So what this basically means is consumers don't want corporate responses. They don't want canned responses. They want to see that you're human, even if you're representing a brand. So here's a really, really good example. And some of you have seen me speak about this one before. There's an 18-year-old gentleman on a train in the UK. He goes to the bathroom on the train, and he runs out of toilet paper after making a number 2. So as all 18-year-olds do, he decided to tweet about it. So, you know, Adam tweets about it. He's going from London to Glasgow. He runs out of toilet paper. Look what happens next. Virgin Trains responded as a brand. They said, like, Adam, don't worry. They radioed through to the train driver. From the train driver, they got somebody to go down to the station. It was, Adam? Yeah, that's me. Thank you very much. There's a toilet paper. Now, okay, it's a great story. We all think it's funny, but look at the response from Adam as the consumer. Thanks to Virgin Trains, the best trains company in the world. So what I tried to do is I tried to do some math behind this. So what we have is we have Virgin Trains, we have Twitter, and we have a toilet break, okay? What did this actually result in? It resulted in over 2,000 Twitter interactions. And probably more importantly, it actually resulted in over 40 news publications covered this story. So again, anyone that works in PR, in marketing, those kind of news publications to be featured can cost you $200, $300, $400 each, depending. So not only was it a cool story, not only did they get a really nice experience for the customer, they saved a ton of money in PR. So just listening to your consumers and reacting to them as you would your best friend can really, really help. Here's another one. Now this is the BART. BART is the public transportation system in San Francisco. Now BART averaged between 25 and 50 likes per tweet. And every tweet was normally, we are sorry for the delay of your train. We are sorry that you're waiting. We will improve our service. And then one day, whoever it was running a social media campaign was like, listen, at the end of the day, the system is shit. It's not working anymore like it should do. It was supposed to manage 1 million people. It's managing 5 million people. Look at the engagement rate for that one honest tweet. It was 10 times, 15 times more than anything they were ever having before. Why? Because consumers finally felt they were communicating with someone that was being truthful and honest. Yeah, you can skip through. So this is a really good story. So there is a private hospital in the US, and they perform orthopedic surgeries. And private hospitals in the US are just like any other business. So they needed to increase the number of people going to their hospital for operations. So they decided to live tweet an operation. So it was an 8-hour operation, 3 surgeons. One was operating, one was resting, and one was tweeting. And what they did, they took Q&A through the whole operation. People asking the randomest questions you can imagine, like, have you ever lost your watch inside somebody? Or did you ever sneeze when you were making a surgery? Anything that they did. But the reason why they did this was to not only get a little bit of PR and awareness, but they wanted to build trust. They wanted people to feel more comfortable going to that hospital and having a surgery. And after that event, they increased sales in specific orthopedic surgeries by 15%. Just by being human, being open, and being honest online. This is a really, really good story about Nike in Moscow. what happened here was, again, about consumers loving humanity. And what Nike did, instead of spending hundreds and thousands of dollars or whatever on advertising campaigns saying Nike's awesome, they took one Instagram post of one of their users and let their user be the focus. Like, instead of saying Nike's awesome, look at how awesome the person is that uses Nike. One Instagram post, and they posted it on a wall in Moscow. That went viral, which meant more people posted Instagrams with tag Nike, more posters were printed, and starting from one poster, they ended up with 25,000 people posted Instagram posters in Moscow with the hashtag Nike, just by putting their consumer first. And just kind of to add on to that is, a lot of people, when I tell that kind of story, they say, it's B2C, it's easy. It's always easy to talk about B2C products, but I've got one that's really close to home, which is B2B. Brand 24, what we try to do is, whenever we get a cool new customer, we try to make a video that's funny. And what actually happens is, this kind of ruined my life a little bit as a salesperson, because I get a new customer, and they're like, great, Mick, we bought the account, we really like it, where's our video? So it shows you that even B2B, people can want brand interaction, they want human interaction, and they want really relaxed interaction as well. So we've all heard the phrase, fake it till you make it, and social media can now be the exception to that rule. So, you know, Gary Vee is a guy that I follow a lot, and, you know, he says that marketers ruin everything, and that's potentially true. Let me give you a couple of examples. In the USA was a really strong, really personal Twitter campaign, which was why I stayed, why I left. And what it was about domestic abuse. So most obviously females talking about the fact, like, I stayed at home even though there was domestic violence because I love my partner, or I have children, or I was afraid, or I left because I finally get strong enough to do it. Really personal. And this is where social is really powerful, because it gives everybody a voice. And then this happened. DiGiorno Pizza, why I stayed at home during domestic violence because I had pizza. Now, the story behind this was, and this caused them obviously huge amounts of negative PR, was because of DiGiorno's strategy was, we don't want to put the effort into social media, we're just going to hack it. So what they did, and the explanation was this, that they logged into Twitter every day, they looked at the trending hashtags, and they jumped in. So, oh, why I stayed, it must be some cool, funny subject, pizza, and it didn't work out. And they're not the only brand. So here we have, let's get 2,296 retweets for all the people that died at 9/11. This is trying to growth hack, this is trying to hack people's emotions around a really sensitive subject. Here's the next one. 9 plus 11 equals 20% off. This was a yoga studio in New York. And if you look at the time that they've had to spend after that, trying to win back people's opinion. I'm really sorry, it wasn't meant to be negative, and we didn't want to upset anybody by it. You upset people because it's not real. If you had a friend that was involved in that kind of tragedy, you wouldn't talk to them about a 20% discount. So, you know, don't try to do it on social, you have to stay personal. So, what we got, the question is now, you got a lot of brands, a lot of corporations especially are like, okay Mick, so we wanted to go viral, you've just shown me the last slide that shows it can really blow up in your face, maybe we shouldn't do anything. So we've got here now, we've got a really good story, which is Target. Target decided that they wouldn't have gender-specific toys in their store. So instead of having boys' toys and girls' toys, they would just have children's toys. A very political decision, right or wrong, regardless. They made a political decision that they just wanted to have toys, and this is what happened. So, of course, Kevin Johnson went to Target's Facebook page, and as you will always get when these things happen was, Target, I hate you, I have 2 boys, 1 girl, I hate that I can't find boys' toys and girls' toys, I didn't appreciate it. Look at the response, ask for help. Kevin, there's no real nice way to say this, so we at Target will say it for you. You're a real dick. And they wrote it on social media. And everyone's like, oh, holy fuck, they just called somebody a dick on social media. This is a huge corporation. And what it turns out to be was that Ask for Help wasn't Target. It was a troll. It was a guy that took Target's logo, created a fan page called Ask for Help, and decided to just respond instead because Target weren't responding. They weren't reacting to this situation. So this is what happened. Target's post averaged 250 to 750 likes. The troll had 50,000 shares. Why? Because it was more real, it was more consumer friendly, but it actually got 50,000 more shares. It was covered in 40 news publications, and this is the scary part. If you work in a corporation, the troll didn't respond first once, he responded first 56 times before Target suddenly had a meeting that went to another meeting that went to a director's board when everyone was like, what should we do? And in the meantime, someone else was responding. So you don't always have the opportunity to not be involved in Twitter because, or Facebook or social because someone else might. Respect to kind of Target, remember what I said before? 250 to 750 likes per post. After they were trolled, I don't know if anyone in here knows this toy, but it's basically a troll. What Target did is they decided to start reselling them in the store after this event to kind of make fun of themselves. Look at the number of interactions, 31,000 likes, 12,000 shares. Target became cool. Why? Because they could make fun of it. They became human again. So we know that social media is a place where we can interact with people, we can be more human, and we know if we're honest and open, they will respond to us much, much more. What I want to show you now is how that affects your sales process as well. So what we have at Brand24 is we have consumers in 2,000 different cities, and in most sales strategies, normally you would divide your team up by countries. So you are North America, you are Europe, you are Asia. At Brand24, we do this a little bit different. What we do at Brand24 is we divide our teams by channel, by social channel. So we actually have now a person that's responsible just for Quora, and I'm going to embarrass her, and Gloria is right there. She's like the social master. We have a person for Facebook, a person for LinkedIn. And we do this because we realize that if somebody's talking about a specific topic on social media, so where can I find the top tools for social media, and they write that question on Quora, they don't want me to email them. They don't want me to call them, knock on their door. They don't want me to be the old sales guy. They want me to respond where they are, because we know that's where they are. And the results are pretty astonishing. So every time we had a person that was writing about tools or something like that, we have someone like Jakob. Jakob looks after our LinkedIn. Jakob responds with, hey, maybe you would like to try our service. Here is Gloria. What social media marketing strategies would you use to engage users? We stay where they are. We don't try to drag them somewhere else. We completely engage them in the same place. The same for blog posts and comments, and so on. Okay, we'll run that down. One more. Okay, so this is the final part of my talk. I'm almost out of time. Is we do all this hard work on social media. We pull people into our funnel, and then this is what happens. We put them into our nice email cycle. And I've done it at many companies myself. You do this hard work, you get people from all over, and then you treat them all exactly the same. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to Brand24. 2 days later, hi, would you like to buy Brand24? Not yet? Okay, 5 days later, would you really, really like to buy Brand24? You know, end of the trial, please, please, please buy Brand24. And that's it. We treat everybody the same. Almost there. Keep going. So what we've got to do now at Brand24 is we've started to diversify that communication. Keep going, one more. Yesterdas? Okay, so what we've got to realize is when we do this kind of communication is that the average number of emails received per day by the average person globally is 204 emails. So if we just put everybody into that same channel, we are going to get that kind of result. So some of the companies, we get a little bit more advanced and we start to do targeted email marketing. So that person opened our email, we'll send them something else. That person opened their email, something else. And you get a page like this. And this is Brand24 statistics. You get 30% opens, 40% opens, and everyone in the office is like, high five, 40% opens, we rock, we kick ass. And what we had to look at is that actually our emails end up in something like this. This was my inbox live. And you have to ask yourself the question of, when was it okay for 50% of your leads to not even read what you have to say? We're really happy with 20% opens, 30, 50% opens. But that means that 50% of the people that you work so hard to get don't even hear you. So we started to mix it up a little bit. So instead of just having this, when we weren't getting responses from 50% of the people, we started to move online. Because we had one very important piece of information. We managed to get a trial from Twitter. He came to our system. He was using our system. He wasn't opening our emails. He wasn't answering our phone calls. Let's go back to Twitter where we found him. We know he hangs out on Twitter because that's where he found us. We all have Google Analytics telling us the source of our traffic. And this is what happened. We went to Dan. He wasn't answering our emails. We tweeted him instead, and we got a response. Same thing, we had a US embassy signed up. They weren't answering my calls, and they wasn't answering my emails. So I went to their Facebook fan page and wrote them, and they said, you know, Mick, we're looking at the system right now, and we're going to get back to you. The same thing for LinkedIn, even to WhatsApp. And this is kind of like my final couple of slides is, I had Lara in my inbox. We had a CRM integration that put all of my contacts' phone numbers into my phone. Lara wasn't answering my phone. She gave us a phone number, it wasn't working. She wasn't answering her emails. One day I'm writing my friend in the UK and at Lara's name, and I just decided. And what happened was, Lara ended up not answering my phone call because it was coming from a private number. That's simple. She wasn't getting my emails because who gets emails anymore? And she wasn't answering my phone. So by just writing her on a different channel, I managed to go from 50% opens to 80% opens by using different channels other than just email. So here's the state of social sales, and this is something that we'll wrap up with now, is that sales has a 20% shorter process on social media. And it's very simple why, it's not complicated. People get less tweets a day than they do emails. They get less Facebook messages a day than they do emails. So when you write them, there's a much faster response time. So even moving your sales team over to social today would save you 20%. There's 8,000 new LinkedIn groups created every single week, talking about your problems that you solve that want you to engage. And then the final one, which is one of our highest converting channels, is there's 5,500 quora questions posted every single day. Obviously, a lot of them are like, what should I feed my cat? It's so lazy. But some of them are, hey, listen, what's the hottest startup in Poland? What should I use for lead generation? What's the best bar to go to in Krakow? And these kind of things and these kind of people, they really respond well when you react to them. So just 3 takeaways. 1, monitor the problem that you solve. So don't just buy Google AdWords, also check online if people are talking about the problem that you solve. 2, talk to people as if they were in the same room. Don't treat them like a robot. Don't treat it like you're talking to 10,000 people. Talk to people as if they were talking right next to you right now. And 3, follow up on social. If somebody writes on Twitter, looking for the best bar to go to in Krakow, and you write, go to my bar, and they don't respond, follow up. Just write them 3 days later, was my tweet helpful? You find that response rates actually get better up to 7 responses. So there's never too much. You can never help people too much. My final takeaway is, obviously, thank you so much for your time. We're giving away today 2 free tickets to Pipeline Summit in Gdańsk in May. So if you like anything cool about sales, about social sales, and Daniel will probably explain a little bit later, but anyone that uses the hashtag OMGKRK, I think I got it right, we'll pick 2 people next week that use that hashtag today, and you'll get 2 free tickets to the event. Anyone that isn't so lucky, you can use I love Hive53 and you'll get 15% off. Woo. So thank you. Sorry, thank you. There you go.